towards the basket, misses one.
Hello once again, and welcome to another episode of Inside IUE Sports. I'm your host, Caleb Gillock, and we've got another great show all the way for you here today. Hard to believe it, but basketball season just a few days away, and I'm joined today with men's basketball head coach Mark Hester to talk about the upcoming season. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Hey, no problem. It's been a while. It's
Has been a while.
Fancy from where we started from.
A few upgrades, but
just a few.
Well, let's think back to last season. Another deep run of the tournament. Great season for you guys last year. Just tell us a little bit about it.
I mean, you know, we had a better feeling going into the Nationals last year because we'd been there before, and by being there before, meaning have won games out there and made a deep run. So we're much more comfortable with it, and I think with that comes some new challenges into the next year with guys maybe feeling like they're entitled to that, or that it's expected that happens every single year, and not realizing the amount of work that's going to go into, you know, recreating that again. And so it's a new team, new year, and whatever happened last year happened, and we've got to move on and try to figure out how to get there again. And it's a new set of challenges altogether.
Well, of course, last year only lost one senior, so it's better than having to kind of rebuild like we've seen the last couple of years with large senior classes. Just tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, it's hard to replace. You know, guys shoots over 52% from three-point line. That's tough. But yeah, it is nice having a lot of people back. You know, things have progressed a lot quicker than what we thought, just because there's been a lot of carryover in teaching. And of course, you know, during the summers we practiced too, so it was able to incorporate the new guys into that. So they all had an idea what we were looking for when we started practice. So that makes it a lot easier too, because you don't have to start from scratch once you start practicing. So it's been, you know, like I said, moving forward a lot faster than what we thought we would be at this point.
Sure. Well, how are practices going? They've been going on for a little while now. Just how are they going?
It depends on which day you ask. You know, we're looking for a much higher standard than you know, I think that we have in years past, or even, you know, most people do. We're you know, greatness is our standard. That's what we're working to achieve, and if it's not there, it's bad, and that's a hard thing to do, you know, and we understand that. So you know, trying to really focus on keeping them upbeat, and that it's okay to mess up, it's okay to not be there. It's the point that we're moving forward and we're progressing. You know, it's all about the process and working to get there, and we're nowhere near right now. So it's going to be an ongoing process for quite some time, as it always is. But you know, I think the end result could be good if we can ever just reach our potential of where we could be.
All right, well, before we start talking about the players individually, we do have a few new faces on the bench helping you out this year. Just tell us about who they are.
You know, Matt Digman came in to replace you know, Dave Sanders, who'd been with us for 5 years, and 4 before that as a player, so 9 years total. And losing that voice and that experience and understanding of what we're doing was kind of scary. But you know, Coach Digman's come in and been a huge asset right away. He's brought some new perspective on things. Also a lot of energy and a huge work ethic, and that's big. And you know, it's taken him a while to absorb kind of how we do things and stuff like that, and we've kind of worked to adopt some of the things that he wants to do. I think it's been a positive addition, very positive addition. I think the guys sometimes don't like how much we hold them accountable, but having him you know, willing to work as much as he is, we're able to do a lot more film study, a lot more breaking down of that. So it's definitely been a big plus.
And you've got some student assistants helping out
too,
too.
We have 2 student assistants, Justin Hawkins, who played here for 2 years in 08-09 and 9-10, and then Marcus Isaac, who played here for 3 years. I forget the exact years because it's right in the middle there, but anyway, both of them, just like a few classes finishing up, we brought them back to give them the opportunity to finish those up and graduate, because of the 2 guys that we've had that have played their senior years and not graduated for us, and so that was a big thorn in my side that they hadn't finished, and so we wanted to give them that opportunity to finish, and also take advantage with Dave being gone, having some more familiarity with our system and our conference and the people we play. That really helps. So it's definitely been positive additions.
Well, speaking of them, had the Alumni Game this past Sunday. What were your thoughts on that?
Very misleading a score. We're playing a lot of older guys, so we kind of wore them down after a while. They didn't do too well in the second half, I think, just because off of fatigue more than us doing things right. And that's something that we've got to really work for, is to do things more correctly and not just depend on them being tired and missing. I think that was a big thing. We had quite a bit of good film session this morning, and worked on it quite a bit today in practice. But it's going to take a couple days before we feel comfortable that we've progressed past it, and it's not just an aberration that we didn't do that all the time. We don't want to do things till we get it right. We want to do it till we can't get it wrong, and we're far from that right now.
Right. All right, well, let's go ahead and start talking about your team this year. You've got 4 returning seniors. Before we talk about them individually, just your thoughts on their class.
3 of those 4 have been with us for all 4 years, and they've got a shot at getting 100 wins as a group, and that's the benchmark of greatness in college basketball. You're if you can win 100 games in your career, that's pretty impressive. And they've had a Final Four, they've had an Elite Eight, they've had 3 straight tournament appearances. They've won at least a share of the conference tournament 3 straight years. They've won regular season and the tournament 2 times. So that's 4, and then a 5th one with they got a share of it their sophomore year. So that's pretty impressive, as a group, and I hope they someday look back and really appreciate what all they were able to accomplish. But they've got more they want to work on and do. So they'll I think they'll keep pushing, but we also don't want them to. We've got to get them to understand that with all the success they've had, that they earned it. It didn't just happen, and they got to continue to keep earning it.
All right. Well, with that in mind, go ahead and tell us a little bit about Jacoby Claypool.
Jacoby's our heartbeat. He's our leader. He does the majority of holding people accountable and communicating in practice and everything else, and just been a tremendous asset since we brought him in. It's been his team since the day he walked on campus, and we recruited him for that purpose. And he continues to grow into that leadership role, because he's a very emotional guy. Wears his emotions on his sleeve, and he's just got to. He's just got to continue to embrace the process of his development as a leader. But he's going to graduate on time. He's going to go out and he's going to be very successful in his chosen field. And I don't think he really knows what that is yet. I think he would be a great coach, but I don't know that that's what he wants to do. I think he's more interested in actually making some money and going into the real world and working some. But I could go on for days about Jacoby and what he's meant to the program, and he's going to be a tough one to replace from a leadership standpoint.
Finally got Lucas Huffman back this year after that injury last year. Tell us a little bit about him.
Luke was an All-American as a sophomore, was on that path last year as well, and probably would have been again. Probably would have had a shot at Conference Player of the Year, if he would have stayed healthy the whole year. But somehow Luke came back, and anybody that knows Luke knows that he's more focused on his grades, which is not a bad thing, than he is basketball. He didn't really touch the ball a whole lot or do a lot of rehab, but somehow he comes back and he's better than he was when he left. He's shooting the ball a little bit better. He's stronger. He's more patient with things, and just a better understanding. And even though he's been out for a year, you can just tell him what the play is, and he can just go do it. And Luke's going to graduate. Another one's going to graduate on time with a 4.0 and go to med school, and he's really been a great example of what can happen, academically here, when you put your mind to it.
All right, and how about Brad Hunt?
Brad's another one, been with us for 4 years. His role's changed over the years. He's gone from being a starter as a freshman to being a bench guy as a sophomore, junior, but what he provides coming on, on the bench, he's always energetic. He's always talking. He knows the scouting report as well or better than anybody, which is great. This year, I think he's going to slide back into probably playing a lot more than what he had the previous 2 years. He's a senior. He's developing. He's working on rebounding. That's the one thing that's really kept him out of playing time as much. But he's gotten better at it. He's a great communicator and a really hard worker. And he's another one that when you find guys that buy in and accept their role, you hate to lose them. And
Right. That's
the thing with Brad is that he's going to really be hard to replace from that standpoint. And he's going to graduate on time. He's going to have he's got a shot at being academic All-American. He's just a couple things away from being able to do that. So he's really focused on that. I hope he makes it. And be a big accomplishment for him.
All right, and last but not least, transfer in from last year, Charles Petersen.
And Charles, last year was still working on getting comfortable. I think this year he's much more comfortable with the way we do things and what his role is. And, it's not going to surprise us if he's one of our top scorers this year just because of the way he shoots the basketball. Chuck has come off the bench and he's been that spark guy off the bench, which is great. Without those, you can't have a great team. And it's kind of immeasurable the effect he has when he's out there because of the floor spacing that he creates and just a great person. I mean, Chuck's just a good person and is always always pushing people to be better. He's always in people's ear and talking to them and communicating and everything else and that's huge. And he's also like our team chaplain. And so he's one. He's going to graduate this year. I think he's got a year-long mission trip planned once he graduates, and he's going to do some great things.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it from Coach Hester talking about his outlook coming up on the season and the senior class. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll talk about the underclassmen, all the roster up next on Inside IUE Sports after the break.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
Life can sometimes be chaotic. And with small children, it can be difficult to get to the doctor.
Hi, Mrs. Towns. How are you doing?
I have a sick little boy right here. I think he might have an ear infection.
With Read Health Now virtual visits, you don't even need to leave your home.
I'll send in a prescription for him.
Quick, easy, convenient.
I don't want to take the kids out today.
Oh, hey, Doc.
Read Health, right beside you, right now.
What if a home phone could also be a smartphone? And what if that home phone could save you money on your home and wireless bill at the same time? With Xfinity Voice, you get amazing technology like readable voicemail on your smartphone, caller ID on your TV, and even text messaging, all for a low price. Start saving with unlimited nationwide talk and text and switch to Xfinity Voice for just $19.99 a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Almost done.
Now you can pay your bill, manage your appointments, and check your connection status. Anytime, anywhere.
Oh, so you're protesting? Okay.
Introducing Xfinity My Account, available on any device.
And welcome back to Inside IU Sports. Just finished talking with Coach Hester of the men's basketball team about the seniors all of the roster. Now it's time to talk about the underclassmen. Coach, let's go ahead and talk about the returning juniors and start off with Aaron Thomas.
Boog, as we affectionately call him, he's one of the best rebounders and rim protectors in the country. He does a great job of both of those areas, and that's what he wants to do. He's one of those people that doesn't want to score. He doesn't want to play offense, but he has some ability in that, and we finally got him to work on it a little bit. So, he may be a little more proficient offensively this year than what he has been in the past. At least we hope he is. But he's maturing as a player. He's becoming much more active on the offensive end. He's going to continue to rebound really, really well. His skill has increased. I think his understanding of what we need him to do offensively has gotten better. Defensively, he's getting much better guarding the perimeter, which is good, because then that allows us to do a couple of other things, schematically. With him and lineup-wise. So, hopefully he'll continue to progress as the year goes on and get more comfortable with where he is offensively, and he'll end up being a huge part of what we do. And as always, and I think he's got a legit shot at 1,000 rebounds in his career, and if he stays focused and keeps pushing towards it, and hopefully that'll be a big goal of his, because if he does that, we're pretty good.
All right, how about Nate Niehoff?
Nate can do a little bit of everything. He and Aaron played together a lot last year, because when Lucas went out, this year is probably not going to be as much, simply because it kind of hurts us in rim protection a little bit when he's not in there, because Aaron then has to be on the perimeter guarding. But Nate's more of an offensive threat than anything. He's the one guy we can throw to in the post and get a good look. He can also shoot the three. He can take people off the dribble, even his size. He has great feet, great hands. He's starting to rebound a lot better and get out of some bad habits that he's had with being soft on some of his finishes. So, look for a huge year for Nate. Whether he's coming off the bench or not, he's going to be one of our major minute guys. He's just got to stay out of foul trouble and keep working on getting a lot better, which I think he's put in a lot of work this summer. His body's gotten a little bit better. He's in better shape, and could be a big year for Nate.
Well, you kind of talked about that. I know we talked about it last year. Nate was really getting in the gym, trying to slim down a little bit, get quicker on his feet. Is he getting to that point where you guys want him?
I mean, he is. We do. It's no secret we do CrossFit at Family Fitness Works, and they're great to us out there. And Nate, even when the team is not going, he's still here. He still goes and comes and works on controlling his body and developing it and making it even better. And that work's translating into being better on the court. And I think his focus is more centered on basketball right now than it has been in a long time. And if that happens, he's going to be tough to deal with.
All right. How about Kendall Rollins?
Kendall's maturing a little bit towards the end of last year. He was one of our most valuable guys. I mean, he finally started buying into the way we do things and doing things our way. And when he did, he kind of blossomed as a player. And I think he's carried that over. And he's really working to do things right. Kendall's just such a gifted athlete that sometimes he's able to do things without doing them technically right. He's able to get stops, or he's able to get places when just because he's such a tremendous athlete. And what we're really working on him to do is to start focusing on his technique on things and the fundamentals of how things need to be done, and that's huge. That's getting huge results for him. And if his shooting stays consistent, which we think it will get better as the year progresses. I mean, Kendall could have a huge year and be a big impact for us, because he's so versatile defensively and offensively, and we need that out there.
A guy we didn't get to see a whole lot of last year after he transferred in, Ray Ramsey. Tell us a little bit about him.
Ray doesn't play a whole lot, but he's probably one of our most valuable guys. Ray's a guy that his dream was play college basketball. He transferred in from IU Bloomington and just wanted to be part of a team. And Ray has really been such a blessing to us, because he is the most positive person you're ever going to meet. Right. He doesn't complain. He's not afraid to speak up and hold guys accountable, and he works at it as hard or harder than anybody we have. you see the first picture of Ray's clapping. That's the first thing I think of whenever I think of Ray, is his ability to be so positive and be so energetic on the bench, and he brings that every single day in practice. And if he's not there for whatever reason, this summer, for example, he had to go on a trip and he wasn't there, and we were a different team. The sound in the gym was different, and Ray's a big part of us and our program. And regardless of, he's a great example. If you don't have to play and get huge minutes to be such a huge impact on a team, and Ray's that guy for us, and we're lucky that we've got him for another year.
All right, well, let's move on and talk about the sophomore. Start off with Jalen McKay.
Jalen got a lot of minutes as a freshman last year. He does a lot of different things. He's working to improve his shooting. I think that's the one thing with Jalen that he's got to continue to work on. But his buy-in, he's another one a lot like Kendall, is that he's such a gifted athlete that he's able to get away with things that aren't always technically correct, and we're working on to get him to play within our system. And as he does that, he starts to do that more often, he's just going to blossom so much as a player. He came off the bench last year and was very productive, and then a couple times that the one game that he started, I think he started 2 games maybe last year, but the one down the stretch that we really needed him to, I think he came up with 25, 26 points or something like that. And, and Jalen's gift is moving without the basketball. He always seems to be in the right place and never stops moving, and guys find him. And that's something that is invaluable to our system and what we do. So, and then being a great defender on top of that. He's starting to get a little leadership qualities about him, and that's a really good sign moving forward.
All right. How about Bishop Smith?
Bishop is a multi-talented person, I guess, on the basketball court. In addition to being a good basketball player, he's probably a gifted talker. Anybody that's been around him knows that. I wish he would talk more on the court, but Bishop is really matured over the last year. Communication was a huge issue when he came in, even though he talked all the time, and when he got on the court he would just go silent, or he would assume that everyone knew what we were doing and wouldn't talk about it. Towards the end of last year, we noticed he was communicating a lot more consistently, not taking things for granted, and he's carried that over and built on it throughout the summer. And now he's one of our better communicators. He's turned into a really good leader, and he just knows how to play. And kid's got ice water in his veins. Nothing bothers him. No situation's too big for him, and he's just gonna come out and play and do what he does. And he's another one that's gonna have a big year for us.
All right, another returnee, Brady Smith. He was out last year with an injury, but back this year.
He redshirted last year as a freshman. Brady, won a state championship with LaPel, and played the last part with a torn ACL. And Brady can shoot the ball. He's got a lot of work to do on understanding what's going on and catching up with the speed of the game. But he can shoot it, which is a skill that translates pretty well all the time. And I hope Brady continues to work at it and keeps pushing. And who knows what might happen for him in the future.
All right, let's talk about the newcomers. Start off by talking about Grant Leach.
Grant's transferred from UMKC. He played some good minutes for a middle of the road WAC team last year at it's a Division I level, and he's coming down, and he played at Hamilton Southeastern, which not too far from here, so we're very familiar with Grant and what he could do, and we needed a guy that could shoot it. He brings a lot of size. He rebounds his position and can defend his position well. He's just adjusting to our style. I mean, we went to the Air Force Academy, prep school out of high school, played one system, went to UMKC, played another system. Now he's coming into his third system since high school, and trying to adjust and do what we need him to do. It's going to be a process for him, and I think his best days are going to be ahead of him. He's got to continue to work and grow in our system, and I think he will. He's a really smart kid, so he's going to get it figured out, and when he does, it'll really pay dividends for him.
How about Keating Rumbach?
Keating, I think he had 30 on us last year when we played him, when he was at St. X, and they played here. So when he contacted us, we were pretty excited about it. Keating adds a lot of size, a lot of athleticism, a lot of ability and versatility on both ends of the floor for us. Keating's just got I think it's such an adjustment anybody that's been around our practices or been around our program, our level of enthusiasm, our level of talking is kind of overwhelming. And I think while he's a extrovert type person, he's still learning to get comfortable like most new guys do, and talking and communicating on the court. Right. Making sure that he's right. So I think as that grows and he learns to bring that every day and that energy and that effort every single day, he's gonna be a big contributor for us this year.
How about Daydrian Harper?
Daydrian was point guard for Ben Davis last year. They won a state championship, and Daydrian's a winner. I mean, there's nothing else to be said about that. He is on a different level athletically than almost everybody we have or have ever had here. He's just he's a pass-first point guard. It's defensive-minded. He gets basketball. He's struggling a little bit with the shot clock, which is to be understandable, especially coming from Coach James at Ben Davis, who very ball control oriented and stuff like that. He's not used to having to look to get shots as quickly as what he's having to here, and that's just a thing that all freshmen tend to go through, and he's gonna get it. But I mean, Daydrian's going to be a huge part of what we do this year, huge part. And he's just got to relax, be patient, trust the system, which he is. He's doing a great job of, and he's working to get better every single day. And he's a relentless worker, and he's gonna be fine. So I think that's a name that you're going to hear a lot of in the future, moving forward.
And what about Dalton Blackwell?
Dalton's kind of an X factor. He came in this summer in June and. Just looked like a deer in the headlights all the way around, both everything that was going on in the court and the weight room especially. And we took our 3-week break between June and July, came back, and it was like a different person. He went home and actually worked on things instead of just sitting around, and came back. He was better in the weight room. He was more aggressive and more poised on the offensive end. And Dalton can really shoot it. And until his body catches up with his skill set, he's gonna really need to just be able to shoot the ball well and not hurt us on the defensive end. But I think that he's so smart, and you see flashes of what he's going to be able to do. Right. And his best basketball is definitely ahead of him. So Dalton keeps progressing, keeps working at it. He's going to be a really good player here.
And last but not least, Pete Pandey.
Pete came from Greenville. He's a walk-on from Greenville, Ohio. Didn't know a whole lot about Pete when he got here, other than the fact that he was really appreciative of the opportunity to be able to play, and that he was going to give you everything he had all the time, and that's what Pete does. I don't know that he 100% understands what's going on yet, but in the meantime, he's given max effort the time that he's getting out there. And Pete can do some things. He's pretty athletic. He's a strong kid. He wants to always guard the best players, and he's getting a baptism by fire in practice. He wants to go at Jacoby every day, which is pretty tough for anybody to do, and he's accepted that challenge and doesn't back down. And I think he's won a lot of respect, by doing that. But Pete's a good kid, and he's going if he sticks with it, you never know what could happen. He could work his way into some time, some point in his career.
All right. Well, thanks for your time today.
No problem.
Well, there you have it from Coach Mark Hester talking about the outlook on his team as well as his full roster for the upcoming season. Again, that first home game coming up here this next week. You can visit the schedule online anytime at IUERedWolves.com. Well, I'm Caleb Gillock, your host for Inside IUE Sports. That wraps up this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.